Um, hey, welcome back to another video. Today, as you can see, we're gonna be talking about what happens when a cow, a potato, and a carrot walk into a bar. And as you can see, it equals Whole 30. Now, what is Whole 30? If you go to google.com, you will get a site that looks like, it's gonna look like this. This is the Whole 30 website. This is what we're going to be doing for the next, it says it's supposed to be 30 days. It's supposed to be 30 days. I'm going to do it for the next August, 3 months. Let's talk about what it is about the program. What is it, right? If you look right here, it's supposed to be a short-term elimination diet powered by habit research and grounded in a well over a decade of clinical experience. That still doesn't tell you what it is. I mean, it kind of does. It's a short-term elimination diet, but we're going to talk about what it actually means for me and what I'm doing in regards to Whole 30. So, here are the rules. Yes, there are rules, and yes, we must follow them. What are the rules, and what do we have to eliminate? Basically, everything.
What did you just say?
Except for these 3 things and maybe an apple. You know what I'm saying? Maybe an apple. But like I said, we'll get to that later. Here are the rules. Whole 30 rules: no/avoid for 30 days. 1, no sugar, real or fake. So no syrup, no honey, agave nectar, coconut sugar, nothing that ends in xylitol, nothing that ends in dextrose, extrose, none of that. Can't have no sugar. They talk about drugs often, and drugs bad. Right, we know that. But when you think about drugs, the main drug that people don't really think about is sugar, y'all. A lot of people are addicted to sugar. So the main thing that you got to cut out, sugar. Second, no alcohol. Now, if you're under 21, this doesn't apply to you. You shouldn't be drinking anyway. But if you're over 21, you got to cut it. I'm talking about your hard liquors, your wine, your beers. You know how y'all like to do happy hour? Out the window. You gotta lay off of it. You can't even do for cooking. No white wine when you cook. No white wine when you cook. No red wine when you cook. Leave it alone. Add some vinegar. You know what I'm saying? Spice it up. Try your hardest. You can't even, no tobacco, no THC. We're cutting everything out. We're making the body at its highest state because we want to be great. You know what I'm saying? So we're cutting it all out. We're cutting all of it out. Now, these next 3 are going to be the hardest for me personally. Now, I've done Whole 30 before. I've done it before. I've done it for long periods of time before. Is this time going to be another long period of time? Yes. That doesn't make these next 3 any less difficult. Let's begin. Grains includes, but it is not limited to, wheat, rye, barley. That doesn't matter. The oats. I don't eat oats. What's gonna be hard is that corn, that rice. Yeah, it's just the corn and rice. Sorry, I made it a bigger deal than it is. But really, it's the corn and the rice. Y'all don't like chipotle no more? What happened to going Chipotle? What happened to putting a white rice at the bottom of the bowl? You know what I'm saying? Put a little corn on top at the end when you get to the end of the line. Anyway, no grains. Can't have any of that. No white, no all of that. Like bread, gone. Pasta, depleted. Spaghetti, no. Biscuits, absolutely not. Oatmeal, for those of you nasty folks that like to eat oatmeal in the morning, don't get on me. Oatmeal is disgusting. You can't have it. Sorry. If you like quinoa and all those, it says in all gluten-free pseudo cereals like quinoa, amaranth, buckwheat, plus all the ways we add wheat and corn. Oh, like I said, like no bread, no pasta, all that. Can't cut it out. Next, legume. Now, this one puzzled me when I first did Whole 30, but it also sucks when it comes to like the good stuff. You can't have any type of beans. We have exceptions. No beans, black, red, pinto, navy, white, kidney, lima, fava. No peas. No peas. I don't think I read that the first time. Or maybe I did. Oops. Anyway, no peas, no chickpeas, no lentils, and no peanuts. I know how y'all like to eat that peanut butter. Well, you can't have bread anyway, so what you putting on peanut butter? Well, I did say you could have fruit, so apples, peanut butter. You can't have peanut butter. If you're gonna eat an apple, just eat the apple. You don't need no peanut butter. You can't have anything that has soy in it. No soy sauce, no miso, tofu, edamame. That one really, when I first did Whole30, that really pained my heart. Because what do you mean I can't just go warm up a bag of edamame in the microwave and eat it as my midnight snack?
Girl dinner.
Devastated. Anyway, and finally, well, not finally, but no dairy, no cheese. For those of you who are lactose intolerant and simply don't care about your life or any of the lives around you, this is the program for you. Because what are you doing eating a full-on pizza and then walking around airing it out? I like my life just the way it is. Why would you try to harm me? That's a biohazard. Do this program so you could cut that out. Anyway, no cheese, no milk, no cream, no yogurt, no sour cream, no frozen yogurt, but you can't really have sugar anyway. So what are you eating frozen yogurt for? No ice cream, but you know, all that sugar. Anyway, no dairy, period. Anyway, don't consume anything with MSG, sulfates, or carrageenan. I'm so sorry. If any of these ingredients appear, obviously cut it. Not part of Whole30. Cut it out. Next, do not consume baked goods, junk foods, or treats with approved ingredients. Like, just because it might be a mix of vegetables in there and it's baked. See, so these are things that you can't consume because they fall under this category. We have pancakes, waffles, bread, tortillas, all the things I mentioned above. I'm mentioning them again now. Bread, tortillas, biscuits, muffins, cupcakes, cookies, brownies, pizza crust, alternative flour pasta, cereal, or ice cream. You can't have any type of chips. Like, if it was made, if you get it in chip form, now, I've made chips before on the Whole30. You could do that, but you have to make them. You can't buy chips and say, oh, like, that's a potato. Like, duh, I can have it. It's not part of it. You have to make it yourself. You can't get it commercially prepared, or french fries. However, what does it say? However, this list is not limited strictly to these items. Use your best judgment with those foods that aren't on this list, but you are not, with that, yours is with basically saying if you have a craving for these things in real life, don't remake them Whole30 style, because you're not really cutting your craving. You want to cut the craving altogether with the elimination diet. So in order to cut the craving, just don't make the item, period. In the last step, this is the last step. The last step is you don't step on the scale or take any body measurements for 30 days. During these 30 days, you're really just focusing on eating healthy, doing the workouts that you need to do. But you don't want to be too consumed with stepping on the scale, taking body measurements. They also recommend not counting calories. Now, if you need to count calories because you're gluttonous, that's on you. But the rest of the people who don't follow under that gluttony category, you can count your calories. I'm not going to count my calories because I know that I'm going to be eating whole foods and eating whole food meals, if that makes sense. So I know that all my foods are going to be very, very good for the soul. That's how I say that. Now, I did say there were exceptions. This is the fine print section. All the foods are exceptions to the rule. All these foods are exceptions to the rule and are allowed during your Whole30. Ghee and clarified butter. Those would fall under the dairy, I think, section. You can use ghee. You can use clarified butter. I don't use butter or ghee to cook. I just be tossing it in the pan and praying that it works. And it usually does. So, hey, that's me. Fruit juice. I think it's only good to use fruit juice if it's 100% fruit juice. Now, you have to read your labels because they do like to sneak in some cane sugar. They do like to sneak in some high fructose corn syrup. So make sure you read your labels. But if it's 100% fruit juice, it says you can do it. Here is the bean exception that I mentioned earlier. Green beans, you need your soluble fibers. Green beans, soluble fibers. Eat your green beans and your broccoli, but eat your green beans. You can have green beans, sugar snap peas, and snow peas. Oh, that's why. Okay, you can have snow peas. Cool. And vinegar and botanical extracts, coconut aminos, and table salt. We've gone our what are the rules? Now you know. Now you know. Now you know the rules. So now we're talking about why I'm doing this. So like I said, I've done Whole30 before. I saw really good results, not in terms of the scale per se, but really in terms of my overall non-scale victories. I found my non-scale victories to be very efficient for my everyday life, as well as the scale victories. But I found that my non-scale victories and my scale victories they just made life so much easier, honestly. And so that's why I'm going to do Whole30 again. Plus, I have a wedding to go to in October, and I need my skin to be clear. I mean, right, you see, you see the material. It's already too much clear. It's already, you see, okay. The material is there. My skin is already clear, but why can't it be clear? You know what I'm saying? Why can't it be clear? Now let's talk about how long you have to do this for. Now, like I said, if you go to the Whole30 website, this is a 30-day thing. It's a short-term what? It's a short-term elimination diet.
That's a big word for Elmo.
It's a short-term elimination diet. However, I will be doing it for 3 months. Maya, why? Because I've done it for 3 months before, and when I finished after 3 months, I felt so good. But my problem was I reintroduced too fast that it just made it all for naught. So this time I'm going to do elimination, and I'm going to make sure that I reintroduce slowly. Now let's talk about what you can and cannot eat. Because we talked about a cow, potato, and a carrot, maybe an apple. If you go to this document right up here, you can find this resources. It's like a shopping list. So when you're out and you're trying to find, is this part of Whole30? Is this Whole30 approved, or is this Whole30 not approved? This is a document that I base all my foods off of. As you can see, there is some highlighting going on. FODMAP, allegedly, it's not alleged, it's real. FODMAP, according to my research and documentation, is an acronym for a certain class of carbohydrates called fermentable short-chain carbohydrates, which are more difficult for people to digest. So the reds are the ones that you have to avoid as much as possible. The yellow ones you enjoy with caution, and then the ones with no background, eat your heart out. You know what I'm saying? Now, there are 2 things on this list. There are more than 2 things, but there's 2 things specifically on this list that are red that I will be partaking in. I'm so sorry. I like to cook with flavor. I don't like my things to be bland. Right. These 2 things are, 1 is garlic, and 2, hello? 1, it won't even let me highlight it? Oh, 1, the garlic. 2, the onions. I love an onion, a sauteed onion in any dish. Well, exceptions. In most dishes, changing lives 1 onion at a time. So those 2 things, they might be FODMAP high FODMAP content. I will be cooking with onions. Cooked with onions this morning, we'll be cooking with onions tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you can have all of the protein you want except for processed meats. They say try to avoid sausage, burgers, bacon, deli meat. Obviously because they like to soak them and marinate them in some sugar. We're trying to avoid sugar. So let's avoid things that are processed. But you want to look for some things that are 100% grass-fed, pastured, wild-caught, and organic. Now, I do know that those things equal dollars. I understand. I've been to the store. So It doesn't have to be all these things. You're really just trying to stick to something, stick to the things that you know, stick to the things that you like. But all protein within reason, obviously, other than processed meats, are good to go. Moving on to the vegetables, again, most vegetables are good to go. Like they say up here, all vegetables but corn and lima beans are Whole30 compatible. But you do have your artichoke, asparagus, cauliflower. Cauliflower? Gosh, dog. Cauliflower, garlic, leeks, onions, peas, shallots, and snow sugar snap peas that are a bit higher on the FODMAP content. And then the ones in yellow you can enjoy with content. The ones in yellow you can enjoy with caution. However, my favorite vegetables on here all have highlighters. So do with that what you will. I will be consuming all the vegetables on this list because if you're gonna take away all of this from me, I'ma eat a vegetable. I'm finna put a garlic, asparagus, a cauliflower on my plate. If you gonna take away, got you. Anyway, like I said, it says all fruit is Whole30 compatible, but like I said, FODMAP high, apples, all of these things right here, all the good fruit, you know what I'm saying? All the good fruit is FODMAP high. Eat less of it. Don't eat as much. If that is your actually, you know what? All of eating, everything that you eat is your prerogative. You're grown. As long as it follows this, hey. And as long as you see the results that you wanted to see, hey, that's on you. Anyway, like I said, all fruits are Whole30 compatible. Now fats, herbs, spices, and the pantry, and then the drinks. So fats, this is, I guess, what you cook with, whatever you want to use. Use these things, nuts and seeds. Oh, but if you wanted to eat your apples with a certain type of peanut butter remix, almond butter is the way you want to go. Almond butter is very good. Herbs and spices, cook with what you want. If you don't want your food to taste like nothing, season your food. I'm not in your kitchen. I don't know what's in there. Season your food what you want. Drinks. Again, water. Oh wait, it says cran mango, but trust me, it's water with my electrolytes in it. Drink your water, and if you don't want to drink water, you have these options. One thing that I will heap and I will harp on is make sure you check your nutrition labels. Make sure you check your ingredient lists because they do like to sneak stuff in there that otherwise you wouldn't see. That's one thing that I will be doing every time I go to the store from here until when I finish is checking that nutrition label every single time. You can drink coconut water. For those of you who drink coconut water, you're right up there with the people who eat oatmeal. Y'all are nasty.
But I gotta keep an eye out for Selena.
Y'all are nasty. But yeah, so that's the list. If I can spell. Oh, I spelled allegedly right. Period. Last but not least, we're going to talk about reintroduction and what that looks like. Once you finish your 30 days, then comes something called reintroduction. Basically, as the name states, you reintroduce these foods that we originally cut out back into your diet to see, but you do them one at a time, each group at a time, to see which food group / different specific foods mess up your gut biome, mess up your overall health really and how you feel. So if you go back to their website, you can see that reintroduction takes more than 10 days. So really, Whole30 is like Whole50, honestly. So it says right here, immediately following elimination, you'll reintroduce these food groups one at a time, returning to the elimination phase for 2 to 3 days between each reintroduction group. Foods are reintroduced in order of least likely to be problematic to most likely to be problematic. This is how I did my reintroduction, basically. Essentially, you're on your Whole30 diet. You're eating your whole foods. Your 30-day comes up. On day 31, you can introduce your sugar. As it says, it's optional. Then you're going to see how your body feels. But the next day, so day 31, you reintroduce sugar. Day 32 through day 35, you're going back to your Whole30 diet. So you're going to take those next 2 to 3 days to see if sugar messed you up on that day 31. If it didn't, you're in the clear. That doesn't mean to start eating sugar right away, but it doesn't mean that that particular thing, a part of the elimination diet, didn't really affect you that much. Then, you know what I'm saying, as it goes on, as it goes on. So 2 to 3 days after that, you're gonna do the whole 30, back, and then you're gonna reach to do something else, back and forth, back and forth. And the goal is to see which one of these food groups actually is what is least likely to be problematic and most likely to be problematic. So you're just really trying to see what works for your body and what doesn't. Okay. Last, I'll just talk about, I mean, we're going to get into this because I'm going to take y'all shopping with me, but here's some things that I'm going to be eating, some staple recipes. All of these are the same things in different fonts. But yeah, those are the staples that I'll be eating. But yeah, that has been a little sit down overview of Whole30 and what I'll be getting into for the next 3 months. Thank you guys so much for joining. Again, y'all are coming along for this ride with me. I will see y'all next week. Bye.